Alright, this is one of the most important aspects I've been waiting for, aside from the UI and quest details, the weapons of Wildheart. I've had the Wildheart's Reddit page up since yesterday and decided to refresh it to see if the weapons descriptions are available on the website now, so yeah, slowly over time they've been releasing these little cliff notes of the weapons that haven't exactly grabbed my interest, but this? Oh, I like this. I'm excited for this one. The description here says that each weapon has multiple combo strings made up of two types of standard attacks and special attacks. Nothing out of the ordinary, honestly, but that's pretty good. A complex move pool system with multiple face buttons would turn people off a bit. Attack 1 are basic attacks, while Attack 2 are variety from damage to support. Special attacks are the unique aspects of each weapon. From what it says here, could be stances to combo boosts. However, a little further down, they state that stamina is consumed when using these special attacks. I suppose if you're the Wagasa, the special attack might be the parry that they're talking about. That's quite interesting because the dynamic for this is to use your stamina gauge wisely. We don't have the game in front of us yet, but I can bet you that just burning through your stamina without a game plan will be swiftly corrected by half of your health deciding to take an extended vacation. Of the first weapons, which I'm sure is the poster child, a midweight, short-range weapon that's well-balanced and easy to handle, the Karakuri Katana. I'm going to summarize what these are describing, but if you feel like reading it for yourself, I have the link posted in the description, or you can pause the video to read through them. So basically, Attack 1 is the rushdown, Attack 2 are heavier attacks that require more frames to start and recover from, and the special attacks are like what you see in the King Tusk video, where the weapon just becomes a snake sword. Or at least that's what I'm taking away from this. In the last paragraph, it states that when the weapon's gauge is full, you'll enter an unleashed state where attacks are all enhanced. I don't know what that gauge is, but I'm assuming the more you attack or the more you special attack, it'll fill that gauge. It also says that the triple crate to bench press ollie is one of the strongest moves in the game, so I suppose that works out for balance, as you can't just whip it out and carry on spamming it since building, moving, and attacking all take time. The Nodachi, which looks like the great sword of the game and seems to act as such, it's described as a heavyweight close-range weapon that deals huge damage. At first I was thinking it had charge mechanics or the Soulsborne of a slab of metal for big boy numeros. Turns out it's all of that, and also like Garen from LEGO Legends. Attack 1 does high-powered upward aiming strikes. Attack 2 does slice attacks, which can be done while running and spinning. Oh, what the hell? And its special attacks are a stance type of attack like they mentioned above. You hold it down, gain energy, and depending on how much gauge you have, you'll have a different strike. Apparently they also have different ways you can use this special attack. Not moving increases the energy you gain from charging. Moving charges the gauge slowly but increases movement speed, and pressing it twice will just do combo hits for a large amount of stamina. According to them, another one of the most powerful attacks is getting this gauge to full charge. So I'm guessing this weapon is going to be less about standing in place waiting for the perfect time to strike, and more about looking for incapacitations that you can pull off the full charge attack. I'm sure there will be armor skills that allow you to reduce stamina costs as well as increasing charge gauge or the fill rate, but considering the potential amount of damage, I'm wondering if it will drain a significant amount of stamina to perform these actions, since it is technically considered a special attack. The bow, I'm sure this weapon needs no introduction, but they still have a spin on it. There are two stances, horizontal and vertical, and Attack 1 allows you to swap between them. They have it separated, but I'd rather just read it out in order, for simplicity. Attack 2 strengthens the bow, consuming stamina and altering the attack types of the bow stances through number of taps. Tapping Attack 2 once will trigger erratic shooting for horizontal stance and creates piercing arrows in vertical stance. Tapping Attack 2 twice will cause arrow rain, and that's kind of self-explanatory, in horizontal stance, while creating an arrow with the extremely high resonance damage in vertical stance. If you're confused by resonance damage, don't worry, they have it listed before this section. I just wanted to order it, for more clarity. Sorry about that. So depending on your stance, it will fire horizontally, which you'll get Haya arrows, which lodge themselves into the monster. Vertical stance, you'll get Otoya arrows, which resonate with the Haya arrows and inflict resonance damage. Circling back to the double tap Attack 2 and vertical stance, you essentially just lodge multiple arrows of Haya into the monster and then swap and double tap Attack 2 to get a huge boost, I suppose. Special attack is used to actually shoot the arrows. Holding special attack has different effects based on your stance. Horizontal stance will cause non-stop arrow fire and charge shot in vertical stance. They made this thing super technical, and that's good because considering how unique the weapons are in both design and function, Bo has to be able to bring something unique to the table if it wants to not only stand out, but also see some use. There's also a bit about dodging here, which is rather interesting. A single tap is a sidestep, while a double tap is rolling. If you use special attack while rolling, you'll get a unique attack, which I'm sure is just like a fade shot. I think we saw that in the Golden Tempest gameplay. All in all, this seems like it's going to be a stamina-intensive weapon. I'm not too excited for, but I'll give my hand at it in the post-game just to see what's up because I do like bows in video games. The Bladed Wagasso, we've seen this weapon quite a lot since the beginning, and it's claimed to be the only weapon capable of parrying. That's fine, I suppose, at least that distinguishes itself from the playstyle of other weapons. I know what we saw in gameplay trailers and select VIP YouTube videos, it's just hanging in the air and absolutely shredding the Komomo, but I'm sure there's more to it. Attack 1 has the quick attacks, Attack 2 has the attacks that deal high penetration, whatever that means, and allow you to go airborne, and Special Attack consumes your stamina in order to parry. Attacking and parrying builds the Renmai gauge and will boost your damage at certain thresholds. I'm not really trying to be on this weapon for too long since it's so cut and dry. Essentially, it's just a crazy rushdown weapon that has a gauge you have to manage if you want to deal more damage. That's a rhyme. Which means you have to be at the monster's barbecue and allowed to cook. The parry system assists in this by preventing you from getting hit during the crackhead frenzy. I know players are just going to absolutely fiend for that Renmai gauge boost, but there's two things that I want to know. One, can you cancel attacks midway to parry? And two, are parries just blocks or blocks and counter attacks? I'd love to see a video on this because I can already see this being a meta weapon. People love mechanics that enable them to exert their meth rampages. Honestly, the cannon seems like a weapon I wouldn't use, just like the bow, since I'm not too much of a ranger in any of these hunting games, outside of a few instances of the bow, because, you know, I love bows. It seems the whole point of the weapon is to micromanage your two gauges and find opportune moments to charge or reduce them. Again, there had to be a level of complexity because weapons simple in design, like this, need to have an edge compared to other weapons, primarily melee, which have flashier or more rewarding instances. So there's two gauges, charge gauge and heat gauge. Shooting, which is done with a special attack button, both increases and reduces these gauges respectively. You have to manage how much charge you have and keep your cannon from overheating. Attack 1 creates what's called a base that allows you to recover more celestial thread by standing on it, which is essentially what charges the first gauge. You can then shoot from the base, like what we saw in the Golden Tempest video, by holding special attack and pressing attack 2 while standing on the base. Enough about the threads, now onto the heat. Firing increases the heat gauge, and when full, it will overheat similar to the gun lance in GU or crouching fire in Sunbreak. To reduce the gauge, you gotta shoot from the base. There's an overlapping mechanic with these, wherein if you're about to overheat, you can shoot a powered shot and a base that will then be enhanced. I.e., you stand on the base, you lose the heat, you gain the heat, you get the super base. Again, I'm not too keen on this weapon, but I'm sure someone out there will be having a field day tearing up other people's GPU by spamming the horizontal land orbital cannon 100 times a hunt, because in order to shoot that laser, you have to be standing on an enhanced base. Finally, the Claw Blade, the weapon I'm looking forward to the most since the Golden Tempest gameplay. There's something so beautiful about dismantling an insect glaive and turning them into dual blades. This seems to be another crackhead rushdown weapon because its attack 1 seems to be just the bread and butter attack combos, while attack 2 is just a position adjustment. I don't know what it means by powerful combo build, but it must mean not getting hit so you can just keep going sicko mode, because right here it says that a kimono struck with the claw will build your claw gauge, and that's done with special attacks. So I don't know. Speaking of the claw, it apparently allows you to grapple hook the target for non-stop aerial attacks and increased aerial damage as long as the gauge lasts. They also have this thing where you can just like jump with the special attack and then create this big damage hit. So I'm assuming that's what I saw because it says it right here at the end of this description, but it's looking great to me. Initially, I was just going to use the Karakuri Katana because it seemed the most reasonable to me until they showcased this bad boy. Or these bad boys? I don't know. It just seems hella dope that I don't have to do any space engineering to go swish in the air. These other weapons are out here getting on these engineering degree and a master's in child psychology. Meanwhile, me and the Umbrella paratroopers are just going into the most useless career fields and having an absolute blast. I love it, and I already know what I'm going to be, for lack of a better word, hooked on this weapon. The Swiss Army knife of the roster, the Karakuri staff, mutates between different weapon variations. The long staff, which is its base form, apparently, Twin Fang, War Spike, and the Giant Shuriken, which was in the King Tusk preview. Attack 1 is the generic combo button, Attack 2 is form-dependent attacks, and Special Attack is to shift between these forms. If you use a Special Attack after either an Attack 1 or an Attack 2, you'll get a Transformation Attack, which if it lands will increase the Transformation level, which in turn boosts its damage. Oh my god. There's also a third weapon, which is the Great Sword that you saw in the Golden Tempest video, which can be used by pressing the Attack 2 and Special Attack button together. All in all, it seems pretty decent. Now, as a self-proclaimed expert and almost 10,000 hour hunting career with the Switch Axe, you might be wondering why I haven't picked this weapon, and I'll tell you why. I'm on the fence, as it looks like the weapon I use primarily in function, but not in ease of access. I understand what I'm going to get when I switch with the Switch Axe, or sword. The rotations make sense to me. I don't know enough about the game to know whether or not I can choose what I want to switch to, or if they're even worth, switching to, considering the fact that the Greatsword version seems to be the goal of using this weapon. Who knows? Like I said, just like bow, I may use it, I may not. Moving on. The last of the weapons, the Maul, which is basically a hammer, but this one's pretty damn big and still combo oriented. I don't know if y'all seen that video where it's like the gameplay is against that little rat thing, but it is looking spicy. Like Attack 1 are heavy blows, Attack 2 are faster strikes, and Special Attack will just do a spinning hit if you're standing and just attacking regularly, but if you do it mid-combo, which increases the range and combo paths by literally equipping the Extendo Mag and the hotbar. Not only that, you can destroy your buildings with this. I don't know about you, but if I build something and a Maul player came over and just like demolished my business, I'm gonna be devastated, like that rodent, seeing its tree get removed. Anyway, that's basically it. Sorry if it feels rushed. I found out about an hour before I got to go to work, and I didn't want to miss out on spreading that information. I look forward to the Clawblade. I don't know what y'all are going with, but if you don't choose Clawblade 2, I need you to kindly reconsider and join the 30-second aerial monster deployment squad. Kidding. Or not. Until next time.